In the scorching apocalypse of Blue Star, an alien system descended. My younger sister snatched the more civilized all-female planet, leaving me the barbaric all-male world, but the all-female planet was filled with aloof beast women beauties. My mediocre sister ended up with menial labor and got exiled across the stars for a major work blunder. Meanwhile, my all-male planet was full of gentle beast men hunks who not only pampered me like royalty but crowned me as the planet's sole matriarch. As my sister perished tragically from cosmic radiation, I happened to be escorted by handsome orc warriors to the galactic core for my imperial coronation. In this reincarnated life, my ecstatic sister chose the all-male planetary system, anticipating my exile and death on the all-female world. Little did she know the male orcs of that world were born monsters. Their courtship of females merely a prelude to final moments of sadistic slaughter. I'm picking the all-male system. Buy me more frilly dresses, designer bags, shoes and makeup. This time it's my turn to be the pampered princess. The shrill voice of my sister Vian rang in my ears, and I knew she had been reborn too. Now that Blue Star has descended into a scorching apocalypse and become uninhabitable, my sister and I unexpectedly obtained 2 alien orc systems, 1 male and 1 female, my parents side beside us. We've heard the all-male planet is full of savage male orcs, uncivilized, brutal creatures. It's too dangerous for a young girl like you. Let your older sister go instead. The all-female planet has an advanced civilization. She'll live like royalty there. I was used to my parents' favoritism, but a heavy wave of disappointment still washed over me. In our past life, with our parents' help, my younger sister obtained access to the advanced all-female star system. To everyone's surprise, my sister completely rejected our parents' kindness this time, rolling her eyes dramatically. She retorted, "Those are just rumors. The male orcs on all-male planet are all real gentlemen. They'd protect delicate females like us. A clueless bookworm like my sister belongs with those man-hating spinsters on the all-female planet." Unable to change her mind, our parents reluctantly agreed while I secretly smirked on the sidelines. 1. Having died too young in our previous life, my sister only witnessed my apparent glory. She never knew the male orc's true intention. After pampering me like a princess, their so-called escort mission to crown me empress at the cosmic center was actually my execution in disguise. After awakening our respective systems, my sister and I were teleported to the alien planets we'd chosen. Before even landing, my sister couldn't wait to activate her neural interface and share real-time visuals with me. "Big sis, I'm so excited about our new life. You won't freak out if I turn on the feed?" "Right," I shook my head. I was just as thrilled. After my sister arrived on the all-male planet, the land was already crowded with welcoming male beastmen. I recognized all 4 of those broad-shouldered, narrow-hipped, drop-dead gorgeous beastmen leading the welcome. There was the noble lion King Davian, the testosterone-fueled wolf Colonel Marcus, the refined crane physician Hale, and the sunny panther cub Mordecai. They stood in formation, paying respects to my sister with chivalrous salutes. "Welcome back to All-Star, our princess." Vian wiped her lips, her eyes sparkling as she froze in place. King Davian the Golden Lion approached gently, asking, "Noble Princess Vian, who would you like to escort you back to your chamber?" The princess dropped all pretense of restraint, all of them, of course. My younger sister was already lounging on the plush, air-conditioned princess bed, attended by her orc manservants. Meanwhile, I was still dragging my heavy luggage around. Searching for the reception desk of the all-female planet, my sister couldn't help but laugh mockingly. "Big sis, this is just the appetizer. Wait till you meet those old hags. That's when your real suffering begins." In my past life, I'd activated neural link sharing out of concern for her, so I'd naturally witnessed her arrival on the all-female planet before. Back home, my sister was used to being pampered by our parents and taking my belongings without asking. So when we arrived on the alien planet, she still acted like the most privileged guest, ignoring my warnings, barging into an unoccupied house, helping herself to whatever she fancied. When confronted by the rightful owner, she refused to apologize, claiming nothing in that hovel was worth her attention anyway. Naturally, this earned her universal contempt from the all-female inhabitants. Assigned to work at a nutrient synthesis plant, my sister couldn't handle the labor. Convinced the beast women were jealous of her beauty and tormenting her, she deliberately slacked off until factory equipment got damaged from idling. They locked her in the gatehouse to reflect on her actions. Later, when she saw how well I was living on the all-male planet, she took it as gloating. In a rage, she severed our neural link connection. Whatever happened after that, I'll never know. Suddenly someone called out my name. "Sky." I looked up to see a tiger beast folk in military uniform standing right before me, strikingly beautiful, poised with heroic bearing, resembling a glamorous ethnic minority actress rather than the which my sister had described. I hastily raised my hand and rushed over, dragging my heavy luggage behind me. The younger sister couldn't help but laugh. "Sis, I've never seen someone so eager to suffer. That tigress aura is downright vicious." Enjoy your misery, my merman maid just invited me to soak in the mountaintop hot springs, not that you'd ever get to see such luxury. With that, she terminated the hollow call. Ignoring my sister's remarks, I stood before the Tiger General and introduced myself politely. Hello, I'm Sky. The Tiger General lifted her chin imperiously. I am Aura, commander of the all-female planet's military base. You're the first extraterrestrial to visit our world during this beastkin rutting season. Her Majesty cannot receive you, as I've taken suppressants. I'll give you a planetary tour first, mating season. In my past life on the all-male planet, I'd heard this term before. The male beastmen explained that without females, they'd suffer agonizing symptoms, and my presence could alleviate their pain. I couldn't help voicing the same question I'd had in my previous life. Why are there no male creatures on the all-female planet? A glint of hatred flashed in Aura's eyes. Male beastmen have defective genes. Sharing space with them causes mutual psychological torment, which is why we segregated into all-male and all-female planets. Riding a hovercar with Aura, I toured the military base, residential zones, and nutrient synthesis facilities of the all-female planet at lightning speed. This truly lives up to being one of the most advanced civilizations. Its development has far surpassed Earth's. Aura then showed me the parthenogenesis incubation pods where females can reproduce offspring independently, no males required. On our all-female planet, as long as you work hard, you'll enjoy the same benefits as native residents, but since you're new, you'll have to start with the lowest tier job. I'm sending you to the nutrient supplement factory now. Just as I reached the factory entrance, my sister called me on the holocom again. There she was, sipping nutrient supplements while a male bear beastman massaged her muscles. Sister, already exiled to the factory, I told you those female beast women were just jealous of how delicate and lovely we humans are. You'll meet that witch Nessa soon, won't you? Good thing I'm clever. Every male beastman around me adores me. How does it feel to be universally disliked? Sis, can't wait to see you get banished someday. The moment my sister ended the hollow call, Nessa the frosty white bear, our factory supervisor, stood before me. Outworlders start as nutrient-paced laborers. That's the rule. Today's the peak of the beastkin's mating cycle, so you'll handle the colony's supper rations. Nessa dismissed the other workers, leaving me alone in the prep room to manufacture the nutrient paste. Staring at the warehouse full of fresh ingredients, a bold plan formed in my mind. Drawing from 2 lifetimes' worth of experience, at dinner time. With the nutrient factory's machines still idle, Nessa came to check on my progress. She took one look and gasped, Sky, you've really messed up this time. I came out carrying a plate of scrambled eggs with tomatoes and another of spicy and sour shredded potatoes. Nessa frowned. You actually mixed our nutrient extraction ingredients directly together. This glippy, chaotic mess, is it even edible? Too. I nodded. Absolutely. This is authentic Blue Planet cuisine. Gritting through the psychic backlash, Nessa said, my mistake, we need Aura to release military-grade antidotes immediately. As for your mess, I'll take the blame. The Firefox Queen will undoubtedly rage over this. I never realized Nessa wasn't just beautiful, but also incredibly kind. I offered the plate to Nessa, urging her to take a bite. Nessa shook her head, but a peculiar aroma wafted into her nostrils. Almost against her will, her lips parted involuntarily, with renewed vigor. Nessa escorted me and my culinary creation into the royal palace. Queen Phyllis, the most powerful Firefox sovereign, lay bedridden in frail exhaustion from severe psychic backlash, awaiting nourishment. Nessa presented the dish with a flourish. Your Majesty, this is Terra's cuisine prepared by our newcomer Sky. Do taste it. I've sampled it myself, though visibly hesitant. Queen Phyllis closed her eyes in trust of Nessa's judgment and took the first bite. The crowd watched the Queen's reaction nervously when her eyes suddenly widened, locking onto me with an intense stare. A nearby guard shouted, something's wrong, seize Sky immediately and summon the royal physician. As guards restrained me, the Queen urgently intervened. No, there's absolutely no issue. The only problem is how unbelievably delicious this is. I've never tasted anything so extraordinary. Sky, is this what Earth cuisine tastes like? These flavors are divine? And most miraculously, my headache vanished. I feel revitalized. You must become our planetary culinary advisor and share these dishes across our world. The others sampled the food curiously, each reacting with similar astonishment. Blue Planet cuisine actually has mental soothing properties. Our people will never have to endure suffering again. In my past life, I discovered that prolonged use of beastman inhibitors also had side effects. While their diets primarily relied on nutrient solutions, once when I secretly cooked for myself, a young male lion in his rutting phase accidentally ate it and miraculously recovered from his condition. The Queen personally bestowed upon me the title of first-class baroness, tasked with preparing cuisine for all feminist talents. Hordes of orcs waited outside the nutrient factory, eagerly anticipating each dish I prepared, while flipping the wok. My long-lost sister suddenly tossed me a link out of the blue. She'd launched an interstellar livestream across the androsphere. The moment I entered the cosmic livestream, the viewer count had already surpassed 100 million. The moment little sister twirled in her cupcake dress, the screen exploded with comments. So adorable, truly the epitome of human femininity, we're smitten. Eternal loyalty to our most noble superstar Princess Vianne. How does one become Princess Vianne's attendant? Several familiar orc faces appeared in the video, all gazing adoringly at my sister while indulging her every unreasonable demand. My sister immersed herself in the role far quicker than I did. I could see the predatory glint in those male orcs' eyes, the telltale crimson glow signaling they were ready to claim their prey. I couldn't help warning her, be careful around those male orcs. My sister just laughed. Oh sister, you're just jealous they favor me. Look at you reduced to a lowly cook on the planet of females, stuck forever under those old hag's thumbs with no future in sight. Male beast men in the live stream started hurling insults at me. You stinking wench from the all-female planet, you ugly hag. How dare you compare yourself to our darling Vianne? We'd never be interested in a shrew from the all-female planet, only a delicate, docile girl like Vianne deserves our love. My sister gleefully kicked me out of the stream to please her audience, adding, after all, she's still my sister, no matter how jealous she is of me, I won't hold it against her. Outside the live stream, I saw countless male beastmen spamming, just kill Vianne's sister, wipe out all the females on Femina Prime. General Aura squatted beside me, munching on the baby bok choy I just stir-fried, and reassured me, relax. Now that we've lifted the psychic suppression, those scum can't lay a finger on you with us around. A few days later, my sister suddenly sent a distress call through her neurocom. Sis, come save me, quick. I immediately turned to look. There she was, barely dressed in scraps of fabric, cowering in the bathroom with pitiful, pleading eyes. Did the all-male orc planet make their move early? That can't be right. In my past life, I never got used to male orcs' constant attention. Just adjusting to the environment took me ages. The orcs pretended to be patient with me, but they'd sneak into my room at night to torment me. Only on my deathbed did I learn the horrifying truth. Male beastmen, twisted by psychic torment, had grown insatiable. They'd collectively descend into obsessive worship of females, letting them reach peak ecstasy before slaughter, the potent cocktail of despair, terror, and betrayal. Hormones secreted by the females served as their ultimate sedative. Seeing this, I immediately contacted Aura to devise a rescue plan for my sister. Suddenly 2 male beastmen flanked my sister, forcibly dragging her into frame. Cut. Princess Vianne's performance was stellar. Look how thoroughly she's fooled that idiot from all-female planet. My little sister stuck out her tongue playfully and apologized. Sis, this is just a scene I'm rehearsing. I'm going to become the greatest star in the universe. All my beast husbands support me. They think I'm absolutely perfect. That's why I used you as my test audience, even someone who dislikes me as much as you removed, so I must be doing great, right? But I sensed danger lurking beneath her words. My sister had always dreamed of being a celebrity, but with her average looks and figure, breaking into the industry was an uphill battle. No one showers you with affection for no reason. Those male beast folk were deliberately stoking her emotions to euphoric heights. Little sister remains oblivious to the peril she's in. I decided to give her one final chance. You're in grave danger on Androsphere. We can petition the system for your extraction. You could return to Gynosphere and cook with me. Vianne doubled over laughing. Sky, just because I call you sis doesn't mean you're hot shit. Gynosphere, that shithole. I'd rather die on Androsphere than set foot there again. If you enjoy suffering, be my guest. The barrage of vile insults in the live chat made my skin crawl. I calmly switched off my neural interface. Some people just won't be helped. I've done what I can, and the rest is up to fate. Just then, Lissa, the doe-eared sister assigned to care for me, pushed open my door. Sky, time to rise. Her Majesty has invited the entire planet's elite to attend your lecture today. The perk of living on an all-female planet. Every beastkin sister smells divine. None of that musky odor male beastmen carry. With Lady Lissa's help, I changed into my first-class Baroness gown and followed her to the square. The stands were packed with female orcs chanting my name. I never realized I'd gained so many fans. Queen Phyllis held my hand and explained with a smile, "Your blue star cuisine has liberated us from spiritual suffering. You've earned the people's adoration." A white-haired, bespectacled sheep grandmother stepped forward. "So you're Sky from Blue Planet. I've sampled your Earth cuisine. The ancient Terran civilization truly is profound. I'm quite fascinated by it." Lissa quickly whispered to me, "This is Dr. Portia, the most revered archaeologist on our all-female planet." I responded courteously, "Earth cuisine is but a tiny ripple in our civilization's ocean. Across the river of time, we have countless historical legacies that continue to inspire." 3. Dr. Portia asked with trembling excitement, "Would you elaborate on that for us?" Before the scorching apocalypse, I was already a dual champion in both arts and sciences, and a hardcore history enthusiast. I immediately launched into tales ranging from Emperor Qin and Emperor Wu of Han to Emperor Taizong of Tang and Emperor Taizu of Song. The all-female aliens were utterly spellbound, never imagining this now desolate planet once boasted such a magnificent civilization. Dr. Portia excitedly petitioned the Firefox Queen. We must appoint Sky as our historical expert to assist my research in ancient blue planet studies. This could bring transformative changes to our world. Nessa quickly interjected. Sky's already committed to culinary duties. She simply doesn't have bandwidth for this. Sensing the brewing argument between them, Queen Phyllis proposed a solution. Why not have Sky teach online courses? Every star system is promoting their own celebrities these days. Sky is our all-female planet's shining star. That same day, my account followers surpassed 80 billion. That evening, my sister had a sudden inspiration to do a live PK battle with me, and her eyes nearly popped out when she saw my follower count. Impossible, this has to be fake. I'm this famous and only have 8 billion followers. How could you surpass me? You must have bought bots. I shrugged indifferently. Think what you want. If you're scared to lose, just file for forfeiture with the Cosmic Net Bureau. Otherwise, let's PK. Fake fans don't spend money. We'll see who's real soon enough. My little sister, constantly worshipped by a horde of male beastmen, was naturally confident she could beat me, but her meteoric fame, just an illusion carefully crafted by the all-male planet's agenda. Her fanbase was almost entirely built by Chuanxiong's own residents. As viewers from other galaxies had zero interest in watching some princess wannabe act out cringeworthy plots, yet my tales of ancient blue star civilization captivated countless extraterrestrials. When the PK battle began, the entire beastman population of Chuanxiong went wild, supporting her with donations, putting her way ahead of me initially. Seeing this, Queen Phyllis immediately ordered her subjects to flood into my live stream and back me up. In no time, my likes miraculously tied with my sister's. Dr. Portia studies ancient cultures across planets and enjoys immense prestige throughout the star systems. At her rallying cry, even extraterrestrial residents came to support me, turning the tide into a landslide victory. The dashing orc gentleman in my sister's livestream couldn't stay composed either, all urging her to concede. Dr. Crane Hale whispered in his sister's ear, "Sorry, Vianne, your sister's faction is too numerous. Even if Androxia exhausts all its resources, we can't possibly contend with the entire star system." Panther Mordecai chimed in, "Exactly, Vianne, being a celebrity isn't all that fun. How about becoming the empress of a planet instead?" The younger sister impatiently slapped them both across the face. "Enough already. I don't want to be any damn empress, I just want to be the hottest star in the galaxy. You will make this happen for me." I saw Hale and Mordecai exchange a glance, their eyes turning frosty as they looked at my sister, oblivious to their hostility. My sister kept campaigning desperately for votes. In the end, she still lost. After obtaining the Queen's approval, I donated the entire massive prize money from the PK competition to impoverished star system residents, and instantly gained over 100 billion new followers. My sister watched in red-eyed fury as General Aura and head chef Nessa, both of whom she despised, doted on me like a little sister. Even the queen she'd never met in her past life treated me as an honored guest, while all the beast women of all-female star embraced me as family. This shouldn't be happening. How come you get treated so well? I just got momentarily angry at their rudeness and poisoned the nutrient supply line, that's all. Yet they exiled me to deep space. Those beast women are clearly all wicked witches, so why are they only nice to you? I was speechless. So this was why my sister got exiled. She absolutely deserved her fate. I sneered. If you want kindness from others, start by being kind yourself. Before pointing fingers, take a good look at your own actions. My sister angrily cut off our holocall in a huff. She didn't contact me for the longest time until 1 month later, when I was teaching Queen Phyllis the newly popularized game of Go. Suddenly my sister's call came through again. "Sis, open your eyes wide and see for yourself. I've surpassed your follower count now, 150 billion fans. I'm officially the universe's hottest superstar." Queen Phyllis glanced over curiously. The all-male planet actually bought her that many fake followers. That's completely unprofitable. They must really dote on your sister. I was the only one who noticed. All the male beastmen quietly accompanying my sister had their eyes turned deep violet. That could only mean one thing: dinner time was coming. I immediately sent my sister a private message. "Haven't you noticed? The male beastmen around you are undergoing mutations. They'll soon turn you into tranquilizer potion ingredients." Even though my sister and I never got along, I despise those beastmen who play with women's hearts even more. My sister glanced down, then sneered, "Jealous, trying to come between me and my mates. Dream on. I've always been more desirable to men than you'll ever be." She then showed the private message I'd sent her to the beastmen around her. I caught the flicker of shock in their eyes before they quickly schooled their expressions. They immediately comforted her. Nonsense. We're just going through our rutting season. Being near Vian alone soothes our spiritual energy. We don't need any potions. Colonel Marcus the Grey Wolf suddenly pressed his face close to the screen, remembering how he'd tenderly tortured me to death in our past life. I felt my hair stand on end. Marcus stared at me and spoke slowly. You're clever, but it's all self-satisfied cleverness. Mind your tongue about things you shouldn't say. My sister abruptly pulled Marcus away in alarm, then shot me a wary look. Don't even think about seducing my Grey Wolf. Werewolves mate for life. He'll only ever be loyal to me. Marcus actually knelt down and kissed his sister's feet right in front of the cameras. That's right, my little Princess Vian. Marcus will forever be your devoted servant, never glancing at another woman. The sister smiled in satisfaction. Only I knew, at this very moment, the sister's emotional meter had peaked, and the male beastmen were already preparing the execution. In the following days, the younger sister remained active on the interstellar network as usual, but unusually, the beastmen of All-Male Planet rarely stayed by her side anymore. During her final livestream, she finally broke down in tears, venting her disappointment toward the male beastmen. Contrary to her expectation where everyone would grovel for forgiveness, those usually gentle and considerate beastmen now brandished knives with sinister grins, all pointed at her. Stop, what's wrong with you all? Don't scare me like this. I'm your rightful wife master, the Golden Lion Davian sneered. We've endured you long enough for this moment, you filthy low-born female. Your despair and terror are the finest psychic sedative for all citizens of All-Male Planet. My sister screamed and dodged, causing the live stream to cut out abruptly. I remained silent for a long while, fearing she'd met the same fate as in my past life, but moments later, her neural link unexpectedly reconnected to my channel. The screen showed her huddled under blankets, face barely visible, as she whispered timidly, "Sis, I was wrong. That offer to take me to Gynopia, did you mean it?" I asked suspiciously. "You're okay now. What about the beastmen of All-Male Planet? They just let you go." My sister's bruised and battered face suddenly filled the entire screen. "Sky, happy to see me like this. You knew the truth about All-Male Planet all along. Was it fun playing me? You never actually wanted to save me. If you did, you wouldn't be spouting all this nonsense. You're just as fake as those women from All-Female Planet." Suddenly, countless male beastmen appeared in my sister's feed, beating her while extracting her despair and fear, all the while hurling curses. "Didn't you promise to help us trick those bitches from All-Female Planet? We're only keeping you alive because you swore you'd turn them all into our resources. Now go do your damn job." My little sister's face was completely smeared with blood, her features unrecognizable. She glared at me with pure hatred. "This is all your fault. You did this to me. I'll make you pay for this." Terrified, I disconnected the neural link and screamed, "Aura, save me." The All-Female Planet immediately went into emergency lockdown, with Queen Phyllis and General Aura both stationed in my chamber. "Don't be afraid, Sky. Our planet's military might is formidable. The All-Male invaders don't know the terrain. They won't make planetfall anytime soon. We've got ample time to prepare." Nessa brought over a bowl of her newly learned herbal tonic to coax me into drinking it. "Just drink this and rest, Sky. Don't overthink it. By the time you wake up, this will all be over. Our planet won't fall so easily." After drinking the soup, I lay down but tossed and turned, haunted by the nagging feeling that I'd overlooked something crucial. A meteor streaked past the window, then it hit me. My sister was also reborn. She'd been to All-Female Planet before and knew the way. I sprang out of bed and rushed to find the Queen and General Aura, but Aura beat me to it, reappearing in my room. "Aura, I have something urgent to tell you." Aura pressed her katana against my throat. "Haven't we Amazons treated you well? Why would you betray us?" I was completely baffled. "Aura, what's wrong? Why would you say that? I consider Femina my home, and you're all my dearest family." Aura's eyes burned with anger. "Then why did you reveal all Femina's secret paths to your sister? She's already led the Andrus invasion force through our defenses. No outsider could possibly navigate our layered barricades without insider knowledge." There was no turning back now. Whether they'd believe me or not, I had to reveal the whole truth. "Rebirth. So in your past life, the system transported you to All-Male Planet, and it was actually your sister who ended up there." Aura's face showed hesitation when suddenly the door burst open. The Queen, Nessa, Lissa, and even Portia all came pouring in. "We should trust Sky's words. She's our sister. If she wanted to harm us, she's had countless opportunities before." Aura lowered her knife, pulling me into a tight embrace as she apologized. "Sky, I'm sorry. I was truly terrified of losing you as my best friend." I patted her back and said, "She's reborn, and so am I. I know the orcs' weaknesses, enough to drive them back." As Aura and I reached the front lines, my sister stood at the vanguard of the Orcish forces, directing them to residential and military zones. My sister had gone from victim to accomplice, a willing enabler of their atrocities. My sister smirked triumphantly at me. Big sis, be smart and tell these bitches to surrender. I've gained half-male status now, far superior to you lot. I call the shots here, beg me nicely, and I might go easy on you. I studied the male beastmen, they clearly all taken suppressants. In my past life, I'd accidentally discovered a crucial weakness. Male beastmen under suppressants can't tolerate women's joyful singing. The female beastmen unaffected by psychic backlash began singing, and the males immediately paled. The male beastmen suffered amplified psychic attacks on the all-female planet, fleeing in disarray amidst agonized howls. Even my sister, with her masculine psyche, seemed affected, wailing alongside the beastmen as they fled. Before we could celebrate our victory, frontline soldiers reported Vian leading the all-male planet's forces toward Blue Star, with Blue Star already ravaged by extreme heat and few survivors remaining. What could they possibly want there? I answered my sister's neural call. They were almost here. My sister smirked triumphantly. The beast women of all-female planet have defenses and psychic suppression, but Blue Star is full of ordinary human girls like me. Let's capture them all for all-male planet, then destroy Blue Star. With this, we could develop superior suppressants and dominate the universe. I paced anxiously. Blue Star was my homeworld, inhabited by my people. Nobody wanted to see it harmed more than I did. Queen Phyllis and Dr. Portia came looking for me. Sky, you've shown us the full splendor of Blue Star's civilization during this time, though it's now facing an apocalypse. The cosmic cycle works in mysterious ways. One day, life will flourish here again. The people of all-female star have unanimously decided to help Blue Star defend against the all-male star invaders. Deeply moved by their words, I boarded the spaceship back to Blue Star with Aura and the others. My sister's team had already landed before us. My sister went to the underground city entrance near our home first and tricked our parents into coming out. Mom and Dad's faces lit up with joy when they saw their daughter. Sweetheart Vian, you came back to visit us. How's life on the alien planet? Are you finally able to take us there for a better life? Without responding, the girl coldly pointed at my mother. Take this one as ingredients for potions. As for the male specimen, he's useless. Just dispose of him. Our parents stared at their daughter in horror. Vian, what are you saying? How could you treat your own parents like this? Marcus the Grey Wolf affectionately patted his sister's head. Good girl, bring us more human women tonight, and you'll get a special reward. The sister's eyes lit up as she pretended to be an injured human, luring people out from the dungeon entrance. Any man who emerged would be killed, while women would be taken captive. I arrived just in time with an all-female strike team, broadcasting a warning to the humans in the dungeon. Don't trust this woman, she's betrayed humanity. The footage showed the sister manipulating their parents. No one else emerged. Not even when the Blue Star Defense Force launched an assault against the Androsians. Caught in the Gynosians' pincer attack, the Androsians suffered heavy losses again and fled in disarray, this time abandoning the sister in their retreat. The dungeon leader emerged for diplomatic talks, where I represented the all-female planet in signing a mutual assistance pact with Earth. My little sister tried sneaking into the dungeon, but Mom yanked her out by the collar. You wicked girl. You got your father killed, and now you want me abducted by aliens for experiments. Have you no heart? The Earth Defense Force conducted a lawful tribunal to adjudicate my sister's case. My sister glared defiantly. I'm the biggest star on all-male planet. How dare you arrest me? Your lives mean nothing. What matters is my survival. Mother looked at me with sorrowful eyes. Sky, at least I still have you. You'll stay and take care of me, won't you? I stepped back and said coldly. You've always favored her over me since childhood. Now I have my own family. Aura and Lissa opened their arms wide to me. Sky, we were worried you wouldn't make it back to all-female planet. I left some supplies for the Blue Planet inhabitants. Promised continued aid. Then boarded the spacecraft with the all-female planet delegation. Later, my sister was executed by Blue Planet law for crimes against humanity. Rumor has it her last words were about waiting for the male beasts from all-male planet to come for her. We compiled documented evidence of all-male planet's atrocities and submitted it to the Galactic Court, triggering a united interplanetary tribunal against them. The all-male planet faced sanctions, with Cosmic Court dispatching garrisons to strictly monitor their activities. I lived happily with the female beast folk on the all-female planet. Story 2. The day the apocalyptic flood surged up to the 20th floor, my boyfriend instinctively picked up his childhood sweetheart, but he said to me, I owe her this. If we both survive, we'll get married. After that, he immediately carried his childhood sweetheart and ran towards the rooftop. I, on the other hand, with my injured leg, was swept into the icy current of the apocalyptic flood. 1. At 5 a.m., the sky in J City was blood red, veiled in a thick mist. In the stillness, It seemed as if something could emerge from the blood-red fog at any moment. When I was a child, my great-grandmother used to say that a red sky foreshadowed heavy rain, floods, and great disasters. I was terrified when I heard that, but as I grew older, I thought these were just legends, nothing to be alarmed about. I checked the weather forecast, which indicated strong convective weather in the coming days. The sweltering heat that had lasted over a month was finally going to subside. Today was the 5th anniversary of my relationship with Kane. When he got home from the night shift, the blood-red sky suddenly unleashed a torrential downpour. Originally, we had planned to go out and celebrate, but given the weather, it seemed impossible. While Kane was taking a shower, I quietly placed the gift box next to the breakfast. However, as soon as he stepped out of the bathroom, his phone rang. He glanced at the downpour outside the window and was about to hang up. But when he saw the caller ID, he immediately answered the call. "Kane, it's raining cats and dogs. The sky outside is so terrifying. I feel so cold, and I'm shaking all over. I can barely breathe. I'm so scared." Whoa. The dining room was so quiet that I could clearly hear the voice on the other end of the phone. The girl sounded pitiful and weepy. "Phoebe, have you taken your medicine? Wait for me. I'll be right there." Kane didn't even look at the breakfast on the table. He casually changed his clothes, grabbed an umbrella, and headed out the door, not even bothering to tell me where he was going. I didn't say a word. Just as he opened the door, I reached out and pressed against the door panel. I quietly slipped between him and the door, my back firmly against the cold, hardwood. Kane rubbed his temples, his tired face filled with annoyance. "Phoebe's anxiety is acting up, and I need to go, you know. If it weren't for her saving me back then, she wouldn't have gotten hurt, missed the college entrance exam, or developed psychological problems. Paige, we're almost getting married. I hope you can treat Phoebe like a sister." Kane put his arm around me, not to comfort me but to move me aside. "I'm already exhausted. Can't you be more understanding?" Understanding. Every time, I'm the one expected to be understanding. At company gatherings where family members were invited, he'd leave at the drop of a hat because of a call from Phoebe. The day we went to try on wedding dresses, I walked out of the fitting room full of excitement, only to find he was gone. All he sent me was a message. "Paige, just letting you know, Phoebe's anxiety is acting up, and I'm going to check on her on my birthday." He also left me behind because of Phoebe. "Kane, do you really have to go today?" "Paige, don't be unreasonable. I've already told you where I'm going. I'll be back soon." Phoebe works alone in J City with no one to rely on. How can I just ignore her? After saying this, Kane forcefully pulled my hand away and left without looking back. 2. I've seen Kane's back countless times. When we started dating 5 years ago, he seemed to shine brightly, but the moment he walked out today, that light suddenly dimmed. The rain showed no signs of stopping. Instead, it grew even heavier. I opened the gift box on the table. Inside was a key to a new apartment, because we didn't have a place of our own. Our wedding date kept getting postponed. A few days ago, the neighbors on the 30th floor moved out of town and were selling their place at a low price. I discussed it with my parents, and they paid the down payment to buy it. Today, I had planned to tell Kane that we finally had a home and that we could get married. I packed all my belongings and went to the apartment on the 30th floor alone. Disappointment gnawed at me like a worm, leaving me feeling hollow inside. Looking out the window on the 30th floor, the red sky gradually faded, replaced by a grayish hue, as if night had fallen. I couldn't believe my eyes when I checked my phone. It was only 9 a.m. At the same time, a yellow rainstorm warning popped up on my phone. "Dear citizens, according to the latest news from the meteorological station, our city will experience a severe rainstorm, expected to last for a week, affected by consecutive days of high temperatures. The soil moisture saturation is relatively high. This rainstorm may trigger mountain floods, geological disasters, and other situations. Please avoid going to dangerous areas such as mountains and rivers as much as possible to ensure personal safety. At the same time, the rainstorm may cause traffic congestion, power outages, and other adverse effects. It is recommended that citizens plan their travel routes in advance and prepare necessary emergency supplies to ensure safety." Finally, please pay attention to prevent lightning, strong winds, and other natural disasters. In case of emergency, please call the Citizen Service Hotline 12345 or the Police Hotline 110 in a timely manner. Wish you all a safe passage through the rainstorm. Thank you. Soon. The property management also sent a notice in the homeowners group. Many neighbors shared news about the terrible road conditions outside. Due to the heavy rain, it was inconvenient to drive, and the community supermarket quickly became crowded. I didn't go downstairs to join the rush because before leaving, my parents had filled my fridge and snack cabinet, worried that I'd rely on takeout. There was more than enough food in the new home to last not just a week but a whole month. Although it was summer, the howling wind outside made it feel as cold as late autumn. Streams of water flowed through the community. More and more neighbors returned from work, and students were dismissed early or given a holiday. Because of the heavy rain, the delivery truck of the community supermarket broke down after bringing in a batch of supplies. The rain poured continuously for a whole day, from morning till night. I didn't receive any news from Kane until a neighbor posted a rescue video in the community group. In the video, a man and a woman were swept off the road by the wind and rain. Despite the man's tall and strong build, he was knocked down by a stone carried by the wind and couldn't get up easily. Fortunately, he managed to grab the guardrail at the community gate and even caught his female companion who was about to fall. Looking at the dispirited man in the video, wasn't that Kane? And the girl he was protecting in his arms, wasn't it Phoebe? I rushed to the balcony and looked down, but the rain and fog were so thick that I couldn't see anything clearly. I continued watching the video with my phone in hand. No, the wind and rain are too strong. The voice of the person filming was fragmented by the wind and rain. Soon, several kind-hearted neighbors tied ropes around themselves and began to rescue Kane and Phoebe. The leading rescuer was a big, strong man, but he also struggled in the strong wind. He was knocked down just 2 steps in, landing awkwardly on the ground, and the wind even blew his raincoat inside out. Hold on tight. He signaled the people behind to be careful and then slowly got up and walked towards Kane and Phoebe. When the ropes were put around Kane and Phoebe, they were so excited that tears welled up in their eyes. Thank you so much. Thank you. Let's go. Hurry back. Don't go out again in this heavy rain. I had no choice. I was driving back to the community, but my car broke down at the second phase down the slope. I had to abandon it and walk back. The community group was filled with praise. Kane also thanked everyone in the group. It seemed he was safely back home now. I opened Kane's WeChat chat window, but thinking of Phoebe, I closed it again. I tossed and turned in bed. When I woke up the next day and checked my phone, I saw a post on Phoebe's moments. The caption read, "My fate with most people is fleeting, but with you, it's a bond of life and death, enduring forever." There were 3 pictures attached, one of Kane's sleeping profile, one of the 2 of them sleeping in each other's arms with their fingers intertwined, and one of them struggling to move forward in the rainstorm. The last photo was a bit blurry, but it was clearly a screenshot from the video in the community group yesterday. Although they had faced life and death danger yesterday, at this moment, I was so angry that my hands were shaking. I immediately called Kane. The phone was answered quickly, but it wasn't Kane's voice. Kane is asleep and can't answer the phone right now. Paige, you should understand now who Kane really loves. Under the gloomy sky outside the window, the distant hills were obscured by the rain and fog. Even though I was on a high floor, the smell of damp earth and decaying plants permeated the air. The scent of the rainstorm suddenly reminded me of another rainy day after work. I was waiting at the subway entrance with many others for the rain to stop, but more and more people were picked up by umbrellas. I couldn't get a taxi that day and had to walk home in the rain. On the way, I saw Kane's car speeding by, with Phoebe in it. I told myself to calm down, but I couldn't stop the anger coursing through my body. The internal struggle was intense, and I felt completely overwhelmed. I rushed straight to the 20th floor and opened the door with my key. I ran into the bedroom, grabbed the sleepy Kane, and showed him Phoebe's photos one by one. "I'm sorry, Paige." Kane looked innocent and full of guilt. "Kane, let's break up." "No, Paige, don't break up with me, you misunderstand. We almost got swept away and died in the rainstorm yesterday. Phoebe's rented place is on low ground, and it was already flooded up to the 3rd floor yesterday. I owe her, and I had to bring her here for shelter." Phoebe started crying pitifully and reached out to hold my hand to apologize. I felt disgusted and pushed her away. She lost her balance and stumbled to the ground. I was so angry that I almost laughed. What's with the fake fall? I didn't push that hard. It's all my fault. I'm so sorry, Kane. I caused Paige to misunderstand. I'll leave right now. Phoebe pretended to cry and started to leave. I didn't believe she'd really go. Where could she go in this storm? Kane, however, got anxious and jumped out of bed to stop her. "Paige, I love you. Trust me, I'll sort this out." Boom, crash. Just as Kane and Phoebe were arguing, a loud rumble suddenly came from outside the window. In an instant, the sky darkened, and a huge wave, as if from nowhere, surged forward like a giant beast. The low-lying buildings were almost instantly submerged. The sound of buildings collapsing and people's cries for help were silenced by the overwhelming wave, turning into a desolate, soundless scene. The buildings in our community's first phase were located on the highest hill in the area. Even so, they couldn't withstand the powerful flood. The windows shattered instantly under the wind and rain. In just a few seconds, the floodwater reached the 20th floor. I was knocked down by the surging water, and my back was pinned down by something, making it impossible for me to move. "Paige, run, go to the rooftop." When Kane saw me fall, he turned to come to my aid, but Phoebe, who had been threatening to leave, clung to Kane in terror. Kane, I can't breathe. Kane, I. As she spoke, she fainted in Kane's arms. I half leaned against the bay window, holding onto the bed railing tightly. Kane glanced at the flood behind me and then at Phoebe in his arms. Paige, hold on, wait for me. I'll come back for you. If we survive, we'll get married right away. Kane left with Phoebe in his arms. He didn't see that Phoebe, who was supposed to be unconscious, secretly opened her eyes and gave me a triumphant smile. Before leaving, she deliberately pulled the door shut, cutting off my only way to escape. The floodwater slammed against my body again and again. My nose and mouth were filled with muddy floodwater. Broken branches and debris lashed at me like sharp knives, torturing me as if I were being executed by Lingchi, slowly killing me. After struggling violently, I was shivering all over, and everything went black before my eyes. 3. When I opened my eyes again, I was lying in someone else's bed. Paige, you're awake. The face of Grandma Rebecca came into view. She was my upstairs neighbor, a lonely elderly woman. Grandma, she's awake. I turned my head at the sound, and a man with a distinctive leg, a mechanical prosthetic, walked towards me. How are you feeling? Is there anywhere that hurts? Looking up, I saw the man's face clearly. It was Lawson, Grandma Rebecca's adopted grandson. When did his leg become like this? 4. The chaotic memories suddenly became clear. It was Lawson who saved me. I thought I would die in the flood. Grandma Rebecca and Lawson were the ones who rescued me. When the massive flood hit, Grandma Rebecca saw many neighbors running towards the rooftop. When she opened the door, she saw Kane also running upstairs, but she noticed that the girl in his arms wasn't me, worried about my safety. She asked Lawson to go downstairs and check on me immediately. Lawson waded through the water, broke down the door, and risked his life to save me. His arms were covered in scratches from the debris in the flood. Thank you for saving me, dear child. Don't mention it. If it weren't for you saving me back then, this old woman would have been long gone. I met Grandma Rebecca 2 years ago in winter. We were in the same elevator on our way home when I noticed she didn't look well and kept clutching her chest. I asked if she needed help, but she just waved me off. When the elevator reached the 20th floor, I didn't rush home. I kept an eye on Grandma Rebecca. Just as the elevator door was about to close, she suddenly fainted inside. I stopped the elevator and immediately called 120. I accompanied her to the hospital and paid for the emergency treatment fees. That's when I learned that Grandma Rebecca was a lonely old woman with no family. Fortunately, after the emergency treatment, Grandma Rebecca was out of danger. The next day, Lawson rushed over. He was wearing a military uniform and looked extremely tired from the overnight train journey. He saluted me and said he was Grandma Rebecca's grandson. I was confused at the time, wondering when Grandma Rebecca got such a grown-up grandson. Later, I found out that Grandma Rebecca's deceased son was Lawson's former platoon leader. Back then, Lawson's legs were still fine. My arm throbbed with pain from the wound. Grandma Rebecca brought over a bottle of Yunnan Baiyao. This is all we have at home. Bear with it, dear. Grandma will help you apply the medicine. I burst into tears and threw myself into Grandma Rebecca's arms. Maybe it was the relief of surviving the disaster, or the sudden care after so much despair. I couldn't stop my tears from flowing. I told Grandma Rebecca about every bit of my relationship with Kane over the past few years, all my efforts and the grievances pent up inside me. I said I was truly blind. And it wasn't until this disaster struck that I finally saw Kane clearly. The rainstorm outside the window gradually subsided. The surging floodwaters still raged on. The mobile phone signal was intermittent, and I couldn't find any information about the arrival of this massive flood. I couldn't get through to 110. 120, or 119. As soon as I caught a signal, I immediately texted my parents to let them know I was safe. My parents said it had been raining heavily at home, and there had been disasters. Fortunately, there were many mountains in our hometown, and they had all gone to the mountaintop. They told me not to worry. Before I could finish speaking, the call was cut off. I tried calling back several times, but I couldn't get through. The corridor was bustling with people, all survivors who had managed to escape from downstairs. Some were still in a state of shock, some were crying softly, and some were so wet and exhausted that they collapsed in the corner. While there was still water, Grandma Rebecca boiled a lot of hot water for the neighbors in the corridor to rest and recuperate. Before nightfall, amidst the atmosphere of despair, a glimmer of hope finally arrived. The rain stopped, but the water and electricity in the building were completely cut off. I had thought that after the rain stopped, the floodwaters wouldn't rise any further, but soon, the water level rose again. Before long, it became unsafe to stay on the 22nd floor where Grandma Rebecca lived. Lawson started packing up all the food, water, and medicine that could be taken away. Grandma Rebecca, I bought a house on the top floor some time ago. You can come and stay with me. 5. People in the corridor also began to run towards the rooftop one after another, from a distance. I heard a man crying upstairs. I would recognize that voice even if it were turned to ashes. It was Kane. I put on Lawson's baseball cap and hid behind the crowd. Soon, I saw Kane at the stairway on the 29th floor. He was crying bitterly, and two neighbors were holding him back, preventing him from leaving. Please, let me go. My girlfriend is still on the 20th floor. I have to save her, brother. The floodwaters have already reached the 23rd floor. If your girlfriend is on the 20th floor, I'm afraid she's already gone. You'll be risking your life if you go down now. Yes, she surely hopes you can live on. Don't do anything stupid. For a moment, everyone was sighing over Kane's deep affection, but only I knew that when it came to life and death, he had abandoned me and run away with Phoebe in his arms. As if accepting the reality, he stopped struggling, collapsed, and knelt on the ground. Phoebe stood behind Kane and reached out to pull him up. But Kane swayed and shook off her hand. Phoebe could only pat his back repeatedly, telling him to accept the loss and forget about me. Kane's behavior made me suddenly confused. Thinking about the past, there were actually signs that he didn't love me. Whenever we had conflicts, he always thought he was right. Even when he knew he was wrong, he would always find excuses to justify himself and shift the blame onto me. Especially when Phoebe was involved. In the end, I was the one seen as overbearing, the one losing my temper, ridiculously. In the eyes of others, he was still a good person, so what was he feeling sad about now? It was laughable. Belated affection was cheaper than grass. My love for him had long been swept away by this flood. A resident on the 29th floor, seeing how heartbroken Kane was and fearing he might do something irrational, invited him to rest at home. The rain stopped, and night fell, but the corridor wasn't dark at all. Looking out of the corridor window, I saw a stunning blue-green glow in the pitch-black night sky. Aurora. How could there be an aurora here? The colors in the sky changed eerily like in a science fiction movie, dyeing the floodwaters in the buildings, whose lower parts were submerged, an eerie green. In the corridor, people's faces looked deathly pale under the strange green light, fearing that the floodwaters would rise again. Many people went to the rooftop, taking this opportunity. I quickly led Grandma Rebecca and Lawson back to my home on the 30th floor, 6, with no water or electricity. The meat in the freezer probably wouldn't last more than a few days before going bad. I took stock of the other food at home: 2 boxes of mineral water, 1 box of electrolyte drinks, 1 box of mashed potatoes, 1 box of self-heating rice, 1 box of self-heating hot pot, 1 bag of ham sausages, 1 box of small bread, a camping gas stove, for gas cylinders, and a cabinet full of snacks. I looked out the window. If we could get rescued within a week, this food would definitely be enough for the 3 of us. But would the flood last that long? Survivors in the corridor started knocking on doors floor by floor. Is anyone home? If you have extra food and water, could you spare some? The flood had come too quickly. Many residents on the lower floors, in their rush to escape, didn't have time to gather their belongings. Soon, someone knocked on my door. But unlike the family next door, I didn't respond. Lawson was about to say something, but Grandma Rebecca stopped him. Only when the voices at the door faded away did I speak slowly. I'm sorry, I might seem like a bad person right now, but given the situation, I don't know how long it will be until we get rescued. I can't even imagine what will happen if the flood doesn't recede and we keep waiting in vain, at least for now. I don't want to reveal what we have at home. Grandma Zhang patted my back to comfort me. Silly child, you're not a bad person. I understand your thoughts, but I also have a different view. In the face of a great disaster, people need unity more than anything. Lawson had a serious expression and seemed dissatisfied with my choice. Grandma Zhang slapped him. Paige, ignore him. He's as stubborn as my dead son. Both fools. I can't take care of others. But I just hope you two stay alive, since Grandma had trouble chewing. We used the gas stove to cook some vegetable and meat porridge. We also opened 2 boxes of self-heating hot pot and 3 boxes of mashed potatoes. After the meal, the 3 of us sat on the balcony, looking out the window. Above us was the strange aurora, and below was the surging flood. The building in front of ours was shorter. Now all the survivors there had gathered on the rooftop. Grandma was a bit tired and went to bed early. Lawson told me to go and rest too, saying you would keep watch. I gave a bitter smile. We're on the 30th floor, the highest floor. If this floor gets flooded, 7, at 3 a.m., I woke up to take over the watch from Lawson. By then, the strange aurora in the sky was gradually fading, and it had gotten much darker outside. It didn't rain all night, and the floodwaters probably didn't rise. Look at that building in front. The water level is still below their rooftop, about the height of the 24th floor of our building. Okay, go and rest for a while. At 4 a.m., the strange aurora completely disappeared, and the sky was pitch black. I found a candle that Grandma Rebecca had brought, lit it, and placed it in front of me. At 5 a.m., the sky began to lighten, and Grandma Rebecca woke up. She told me to go to sleep, but I couldn't fall asleep no matter what. At 6 a.m., the sun pierced through the thin clouds and shone on the floodwaters. The reflected light was so dazzling that it hurt my eyes. At 7 a.m., the sun came out fully. Great, if it didn't rain again, the floodwaters wouldn't rise. Right, after a morning of intense sunlight, the floodwaters gradually calmed down like a stagnant pond. In the afternoon, people in the corridor began organizing self-rescue teams. My home is on the 24th floor. There are 2 boxes of instant noodles and 2 boxes of mineral water in the kitchen. I ran too fast and didn't have time to get them. Let's go down and take a look. My home is on the 23rd floor. I remember there's a box of self-heating hot pot and a case of mineral water. I need to go back to the 22nd floor to get my dad's medicine. Is anyone going to the 22nd floor? Are there any good swimmers here? We're short on manpower right now, for safety's sake. Let's divide into groups and go to different floors. Don't push yourselves. If you feel tired, come back immediately. Lawson and I pressed our ears against the door, listening to the discussion outside. When we heard they were short on manpower, he couldn't stay put. Count me in. When I opened the door, the people at the door were a bit surprised. All the members of the rescue team outside were from floors below the 24th floor, which were already submerged. None of them were from the 25th floor or above. Soon, several neighbors' eyes shifted from Lawson's face to his prosthetic leg. Brother, thank you so much for offering to help, but your leg. Lawson knocked on his prosthetic leg. I lost this leg during a mission. I used to be in the army. I'm a good swimmer, and this prosthetic is waterproof. Count me in too. I need to go to the 20th floor. Hearing Kane's voice, I quickly closed the door halfway and hid behind it. Brother, are you feeling better today? The water has reached the 24th floor now. It'll be tough to go down to the 20th floor. I want to go back and look for my girlfriend. My girlfriend loves snacks. There's a big box of snacks at home, and a lot of self-heating hot pot. As he said this, Kane suddenly burst into tears. Slap, slap, slapdash. He slapped himself in the face while crying. I'm afraid I won't be able to come back alone. My sister is still on the rooftop. If anyone is willing to go to the 20th floor with me, I'm willing to share half of the food. I don't need my share, just leave some for my sister. Everyone thought Kane was loyal and kind-hearted. Everyone tried to persuade him, perhaps because of Kane's persistence, or maybe to get more supplies. Someone finally agreed to go to the 20th floor with him. Lawson knew about my relationship with Kane. He didn't say anything, just turned his head and glanced at me inside the door. I put my index finger to my lips, signaling him not to tell Kane I was here. Grandma Rebecca walked to the door worriedly and said goodbye to Lawson. I know I can't stop you, but you must promise Grandma to put your safety first. After a while, the self-rescue team set off downstairs along the corridor. I kept an eye on the water level from the balcony. Grandma Rebecca and the families of the other self-rescue team members waited in the corridor for Lawson's return. I looked into the distance and saw a white boat floating on the murky floodwaters. Rescue had arrived. I opened the window and waved at it. After waving for a long time, I realized that it was a tourist boat from a park. There was no one on it, and it was just drifting with the current. Eventually, it got stuck next to a submerged building nearby. Hope and despair alternated in an instant. If we couldn't get rescued and if that boat was in good condition, could we use it to save ourselves and leave? 8. Have you seen my grandson Lawson? Why hasn't he come back yet? Grandma Rebecca's anxious voice sounded at the door. It seemed the self-rescue team had returned. To avoid running into Kane, I opened the door a crack and observed the situation outside. Most of the team members had returned. They were soaking wet but had brought back a lot of food. Everyone was tired, but the mission had generally gone smoothly. Even when a neighbor who was in the same group as Lawson came back, Lawson was still nowhere to be seen. Son, was my grandson in your group? Why hasn't he come back? Didn't you encounter any danger down there? The man was carrying a large bag of food in his arms. He waved his hand and rushed towards the rooftop. The team leader put the food on the rooftop and then returned to the stairway to wait. Let's wait for another 5 minutes. If they don't come back, a few of us will go down and check again. As soon as he finished speaking, Kane and the 2 people in his group came back. When Phoebe saw Kane, she hurried up to meet him. He handed her the bag of food and medicine, then knelt on the ground and refused to get up. She's dead. Paige is dead. I couldn't find her, not even her body. The people around tried to comfort Kane, telling him to accept the loss. Looking at Kane's appearance, I felt nothing inside. Phoebe tried to pull him up to the rooftop to rest, but she couldn't budge him. At this moment, everyone's attention was on Kane, except for Grandma Rebecca and me, who were staring at the stairway. Lawson, you're finally back. Grandma, I'm okay. Brother, are you hurt? I'm fine. I just ran into a little trouble. Lawson looked around the crowd as if searching for something. Soon, his eyes met those of the man who had gone into the water with him, for some reason. The man looked visibly flustered when he saw Lawson. Lawson clenched his fists and walked straight towards the man. Next to the man stood a little boy about 4 years old. When the little boy saw that no one else came up behind Lawson, his nose wrinkled, and he started crying. "Dad, where's Mom? Be good, son. Mom got on a boat. She'll come back soon to take us away." Everyone knew it was a lie to comfort the child. The little boy's mother was probably dead. Lawson suppressed his anger, and his clenched fists relaxed slightly. Grandma Rebecca urged Lawson to go home and change his clothes. Before closing the door, I glanced at Kane. He was still kneeling in the direction of the stairway. "Let him kneel. It has nothing to do with me anymore." After he came back, I asked Lawson what had happened. He said that when they were looking for supplies, the man in the same group had almost killed him to grab the food. "We have enough food at home. Don't go again," unexpectedly. Lawson shook his head as soon as I finished speaking. "It's okay. If they go down to look for supplies again tomorrow, I'll still go and help. I'll talk to Levi, the team leader, later and remind everyone to be careful." There was no emotion in Lawson's voice. Instead, I got worked up. "We don't need more food. That guy almost killed you for food. Is just reminding Levi to be careful enough. There's a huge flood outside, and you have a prosthetic leg. Stop being so overly kind-hearted. What would Grandma Rebecca do if something happened to you?" Facing my outburst, Lawson didn't get angry. He just said calmly, "When Chinese people face natural disasters and man-made calamities, they don't fear hardships, difficulties, or even death. In times like this, only unity can see us through." Looking exhausted, Lawson dragged his prosthetic leg to his room to catch up on sleep. After saying that, later, Grandma Rebecca told me that Lawson's father had sacrificed while fighting the massive floods in 1998. In 1998, I was just born, and Lawson was only 1 year older than me. That year, 300,000 soldiers jumped into the river to set up defenses. They built dams with their own bodies, one after another being swept away by the flood. Lawson has no memories of his father. He can only look at photos and search for memories of his father in flood fighting documentaries again and again. Later, he also became a soldier. Maybe it's the sense of mission of a soldier. He's as stubborn as my son. "Paige, don't be angry." Just then, there was a knock on the door. It was Levi, the initiator of the self-rescue team. He brought half a bottle of water and 2 packs of instant noodles. "How's Lawson?" "This water is clean. No one has drunk from it. I just poured out half a bottle. If it's sunny tomorrow, we'll go down again." Grandma Rebecca looked at the food Levi brought but didn't take it. "We still have enough food. Lawson just wants to help. You can give these to others." "Grandma, don't be polite. I'll just leave them here," Levi said and dashed away, looking at the half bottle of water and 2 packs of instant noodles outside the door, then at the food and water inside. I felt mixed emotions. 9. Before the 3rd day arrived, the plan to dive downstairs to search for supplies fell through. It rained all night. The floodwaters, which had seemed calm, became turbulent again. Overnight, the water level rose to the 26th floor. The buildings in front of ours, which were slightly shorter, were completely submerged. Just yesterday, the rooftop of that building was still full of people. The rain didn't stop until noon. As the clouds dispersed, the sun began to scorch the earth again. By then, the floodwaters had risen to the 27th floor. If it continued to rain, the water might flood the 30th floor tomorrow. I looked for the boat that had drifted over from the park with the floodwaters yesterday, but it was nowhere to be seen after the night. Suddenly, there was another knock on the door in the corridor. The person knocked on the doors of all the neighbors on the 30th floor. When I opened the door, she was kneeling in front of the neighbor's door, holding a child. "I'm sorry to bother you. My child has had a fever all night, and it won't go down. Do you have any fever medicine? Please help me." Behind the woman was a familiar figure, Phoebe. She seemed to be helping. When I leaned out to look, I happened to meet Phoebe's gaze. Her eyes were full of shock when she looked at me. You're not dead." The neighbor didn't have any medicine in stock. The mother quickly turned to look at me. "Don't worry. I should have some cold medicine, but it's for adults. If you're sure you want it, I'll go look for it." "Okay, adult medicine is fine. I'll give my child a quarter of the dosage. Thank you so much." She was about to kneel to thank me, but I quickly held her up. "Wait a minute." At the same time, Kane's voice came from the corridor. "Phoebe, where did you go?" At this, Phoebe's expression visibly panicked. She quickly grabbed the mother beside her and pushed her towards my house. I deliberately blocked the door, preventing her from succeeding. I asked Grandma Rebecca to bring the medicine box and let the mother and child into the house. Phoebe was left outside, and I slapped her hard. I knew what Phoebe was up to. She didn't want Kane to see me. Ridiculous. As if I wanted to see Kane. With our lives at stake, I'm not going to play any emotional games with you. You hit me. How dare you hit me? A lot of people upstairs are sick. Why didn't you take out your medicine earlier? You didn't open the door when we knocked these past few days. Are you hiding a lot of food and water? You're so selfish. You won't share them. Paige, listen, I know. You forcefully occupied someone else's house. That's why you're guilty. Slap. I slapped Phoebe again. Phoebe, get this straight. I'm the one giving the medicine, not you. This house is mine, not yours. Who do you think you are? Pretending to be a good person here. Woo. You're hoarding supplies. You're selfish. You're bullying people. I'm going to tell Kane. I'm going to tell everyone. Kane had already followed the sound. When he saw Phoebe crying, he was about to question me, but when he saw me, he swallowed the words that were on the tip of his tongue. Shock and joy alternated on his face. Paige, you're still alive. That's great. I've been suffering these past few days. It must be that God heard my prayers. Our love must have kept you alive. We will definitely survive. I will definitely give you a grand wedding. He stepped past Phoebe and walked quickly towards me, opening his arms to pull me into an embrace. Initially, I wanted to push Kane away, but seeing Phoebe's face turn red with anger, I stopped. Phoebe's hands were shaking with anger. She stood behind Kane and tugged at the hem of his clothes. Kane, Paige, she hit me. Phoebe cried pitifully. Kane felt sorry for her again. He let go of me and turned to look at Phoebe, although Phoebe's face was red. The 2 slap marks on her face were even redder. Kane looked at me with the expression, Paige, Kane, when the flood came, you ran away with her in your arms. Do you know how painful it was when my nose and mouth were filled with muddy floodwater and I couldn't breathe? That morning, if you hadn't left, you would have known that this house was supposed to be our wedding home. After all that's happened, how do you have the nerve to think I still want to marry you? Even if the end of the world comes, I'd rather die than be with you. The expressions on Kane's face changed rapidly. He knelt on the ground and begged me to forgive him desperately. Wonder when Lawson had stood behind me. Kane, who had been crying his eyes out, suddenly stopped. He looked at Lawson with resentment. Is it because of him? Did you fall in love with someone else long ago? I was almost angered into laughter. Kane was always like this. In the end, all problems were always my fault. But it doesn't matter. I just beg you to forgive me, Paige. Forgive me. I'll do better than before. Lawson, who had come to see what was going on, suddenly became the center of attention. His face darkened, and he frowned. He suddenly pulled me behind him and shouted at Kane, "What kind of man are you? Get lost." Bang. Lawson closed the door. 10. Sorry. I couldn't stand it anymore. Lawson turned around, trying hard to hide his embarrassment. It's okay. Thank you for saying what I wanted to say. If we survive, do you still plan to make up with him? I shook my head. Make up? Impossible. 11. After taking the cold medicine and drinking several large glasses of hot water, the sick child finally, I wasn't sure what caused her illness, so I took out all the antiviral and anti-inflammatory drugs at home. I don't know much about how to medicate children. See if you need these. Thank you so much. Due to the all-night rain, no one was willing to go downstairs to search for supplies in groups. In order to find medicine for his daughter, the little girl's father took the risk of diving downstairs as soon as the sun came out at noon when the rain stopped. He searched house by house according to the locations provided by nearby neighbors but found nothing. All the medicine chests had been washed away. Instead of finding medicine, he picked up some small bread and instant noodles that had been washed there from who knows where. When he came back, he was soaked and exhausted. When he learned that his child had taken the medicine and the fever had gone down, he insisted on giving me more than half of the remaining food. No need. We have enough food. What will you do if you give these to me? I'll be fine. I'll rest for a while and go down to search again later. I just need to leave some food for the child. I didn't take their food and offered them a room. The child is sick. Stay at my place for now. There were now the lively laughs of the little girl at home. She didn't seem to understand what the flood outside meant. She only knew that being with her parents was the happiest thing. I suddenly missed my parents very much. I wondered how they were doing. 12. On the 4th day after the flood broke out, thankfully, it was a sunny day without rain. The self-rescue team organized another dive to search for supplies. When Lawson went out, he saw Kane kneeling at the door. Paige, I ignored him. After telling Lawson to be careful, I closed the door again. I heard that he knelt at my door for a whole day and night. 13. On the 5th day after the flood, the strange aurora didn't appear again, and the blood-red mist completely dissipated. Looking at the bright sun in the sky, everyone seemed to regain hope for survival. After 2 days of diving and searching, almost all the available food and water had been retrieved. According to Lawson, Kane had been kneeling at my door for 2 days and 2 nights. 14. On the 6th day after the flood, when the sun rose, everyone breathed a sigh of relief, but soon fell into despair. When would the rescue arrive? How much longer could we hold on? The floodwaters had stopped rising after reaching the 29th floor and remained at that level for 2 days. The little girl who had been sick at my place recovered after taking medicine for 3 days. The camping gas stove at my home completely stopped working. Due to the arrival of the little girl's family, we had to plan more strictly for the food and water. After several fruitless searches, the self-rescue team stopped diving. Levi and a few brave people discussed trying to swim out to find rescue. Before they left, I asked Lawson to give them the last box of self-heating hot pot, along with some small bread and mashed potatoes. Lawson said, "The situation outside is better than you think. Everyone is united. Although there's very little food and water, no one fights or grabs. By the way, your ex-boyfriend's sister doesn't seem well. She's been spreading rumors about us on the rooftop and speaking ill of us. But since everyone knows you saved the sick girl and has seen my help these past few days, no one believes her. At first, some people comforted her, but later she started scolding others because she thought she got too little food, so no one pays attention to her anymore. I thought about it. She might be trying to get your ex-boyfriend's attention. He hasn't paid her any mind these past 2 days. I didn't see your ex-boyfriend at the door just now, and he's not on the rooftop either. I wonder where he went. Could he have done something stupid? Do something stupid? With such a huge flood, he might as well jump in. A selfish person like Cain loves only himself. He wouldn't do something stupid. They're a perfect pair. Let's ignore them. I swam to the next building just now. There's a boat that drifted over near Building 3. It seems to be a small tourist boat from the park across the way, but it's broken. Tomorrow, I'll try to find materials to fix it, if I can fix it. We can leave here, but that boat can only seat about 8 people. I counted the people in our place. There are 6 of us, so we can fit, but there are still more than 30 people on the rooftop and in the corridor. Lawson didn't want to abandon the people in the building and leave, but there was no other way now. We're not running away. We're going to find rescue. Besides, not everyone is willing to take the risk and leave. No one knows what the flood is like outside. As long as the floodwaters don't rise, waiting for rescue where we are is the safest option." Suddenly, there was a loud banging on the door. Bang, bang, bang. "Paige, open the door." It was Phoebe's voice. Lawson asked suspiciously, "Your ex-boyfriend's sister, didn't she say she wasn't feeling well on the rooftop just now? Why is she shouting so loudly? Paige, why do you make Cain keep kneeling for you? The end of the world is coming. We're all going to die. Why won't you forgive him?" I opened the door with a cold laugh, so she knew the end of the world was coming but was still acting out this stupid love drama. Phoebe's voice was so loud that many people poked their heads out to watch. I looked around but didn't see Cain. Seeing that I ignored her, Phoebe reached out to pull my hair, but I was quicker and taller than her. Not only did she fail to pull my hair, but I grabbed her collar and pushed her out. "Do you want another beating, Gurgle?" Phoebe's stomach rumbled louder than her words. I laughed. "Are you hungry? I have self-heating rice and snacks. Do you want some?" When Phoebe heard about the food, her eyes widened. Half of the arrogance she had when accusing me disappeared. "Really? Give it to me quickly. Cain fainted just now after starving for 2 days. You won't ignore him, right? I'll go and bring him here. Get the food ready." With that, Phoebe turned to go find Cain. "Hey, wait, I have food. But I didn't say I'd give it to you. Why should I care if you're hungry or not? Paige, you're so vicious, so selfish. Why won't you hand over the food? Why? Because you pretended to faint when the flood suddenly came. Because after pretending to faint, you closed the door of my house. You cut off my only way to escape. Phoebe, this is attempted murder." Everyone in the corridor looked at Phoebe with strange looks. I thought Phoebe would at least continue to defend herself to maintain her image, but she suddenly burst into crazy laughter. "Haha, didn't expect you to see through it. Yes, I pretended to faint on purpose. I wanted you to die. Cain and I are meant to be together. Without you, Cain wouldn't treat me like a sister." "Paige, why are you still alive? Why don't you die?" Phoebe glared at me furiously. I didn't know where she got a pair of scissors and had been hiding it in her pocket. After saying that, she suddenly took out the scissors and stabbed at me. "Watch out." As Lawson pulled me behind him, he disarmed Phoebe of the scissors and pushed her down into the corridor. The onlookers nearby stepped back one after another, not wanting to get involved with this crazy woman. She staggered to her feet and, looking disheveled, tried to run away, but when she turned her head, she bumped into Cain's chest. "Cain, when did you wake up? You fainted from hunger." And I tried to get food from Paige, but she wouldn't give it to me. "Are you still feeling unwell? Why didn't you rest a bit longer?" Cain's eyes were red, and he couldn't speak for a long time. "Phoebe, why did you do this?" "Woo, Cain, I didn't. I was just saying things out of anger." "Woo, I didn't." Cain looked at me, his face full of self-blame. He had been standing there long before Phoebe swung the knife at me, but he just watched. Heh. Who is this self-blaming expression for? I'm sorry, Paige, I know I was wrong. Please forgive me. Okay, Kane broke free from Phoebe, who was clinging to him, and stumbled towards me. When he reached the door, he couldn't push past Lawson no matter how hard he tried. Lawson showed no sign of giving in. Mr. Song, in the face of this disaster, people need to unite and work hard to save themselves. Please keep your sister in line and don't let her come down from the rooftop again. If I could call the police right now, I'd be the first to send her to the police station. I reached out and tugged at Lawson, then stepped forward. Kane, who had looked so humble and desperate, suddenly had a glimmer of hope in his eyes. Paige, I knew you wouldn't ignore me. He thought I was going to say something to him, but I just slammed the door shut. A person you've already been abandoned by suddenly smiles at you. It's like an umbrella that was stuck finally opens after you've walked a long way in the rain. But so what? Your clothes are already soaked through. The most redundant thing in the world is the attentiveness after the heart has gone cold. If he doesn't show up when you need him most, then he doesn't need to show up ever again. After going through life and death, that feeling of thinking I absolutely needed him is long gone. 15. On the 7th day after the flood broke out, the water level dropped from the 28th floor to the 27th floor, giving all the survivors the confidence to keep waiting for rescue. The sun was bright, and it seemed there wouldn't be any more rain. All around was a vast expanse of water, and there was still no sign of a rescue boat. Levi and the others who went out to seek rescue yesterday hadn't returned yet. I could only silently pray in my heart, hoping they would be safe. Lawson and Kieran, the father of the little girl staying at my place, discussed and found some tools. They also removed some wooden planks from the cabinet, planning to repair the boat leaning against the nearby building, just in case. Phoebe's attempt to hurt someone yesterday had spread throughout the rooftop, and no one wanted to be around her. King came downstairs to find me. After knocking on the door a few times, he was chased away by Lawson, who had just returned from working on the boat. 16. On the 8th day after the flood, Lawson and Kieran went out early in the morning to test the oars they had made from cabinet doors at home last night. As the sun rose, the sky suddenly turned a strange red. The sun disappeared into the red mist, becoming increasingly hard to see. Looking at this strange weather, I had a bad feeling. The day before the flood broke out, the weather was like this too. The red in the sky seemed to herald an even greater disaster. Then, there was a deafening roar that shook the heavens and the earth. In an instant, heavy rain poured down. The flood started raging again. Soon, the water began to flood into the balcony on the 30th floor. No, we can't stay on the 30th floor anymore. I had already packed the remaining food and water into my backpack earlier. No, I put it on immediately, helped Grandma Rebecca, and prepared to run upstairs. Sister Son, let's go. Sister Son picked up the child and followed us right away. Paige, Kieran and Lawson haven't come back yet. They have a boat. They'll be safe. Let's go to the rooftop first. When we were almost at the rooftop, a figure suddenly appeared at the door of the rooftop. It was Phoebe. She looked back at me, her eyes suddenly dimming, and then she slammed the door shut with all her might. Damn it, I pounded on the door desperately, but it didn't budge. The sound of the rain was so loud that my shouts were drowned out. The door still didn't open. No, we couldn't wait any longer. Let's go back and wait for Lawson and Kieran. The water level is rising, and their boat can come right up to the edge of our balcony. When we got back home, the floodwater was already rushing into the living room. In the rainstorm, a frightened swallow flew over the water. It couldn't find a place to shelter from the rain, so it could only hide its fear of the storm deep in the flood. We didn't have wings, and we had nowhere to go. I took a bright colored piece of clothing and waved it out of the window as hard as I could. It was foggy outside, and I couldn't see clearly. I just hoped Lawson and Kieran could see us. Lawson, Kieran, we're here. Instead of Lawson and Kieran, we waited for an inflatable rescue transport boat. Levi, who had gone out to find rescue before, had come back with people to save us. Hurry, get on the boat, wife, Grandma, Paige. I looked up and saw Lawson and Kieran. Lawson said that just now, he and Kieran had tried to row the small boat back, but it was too small to withstand the flood. They had been trapped on the rooftop of Building 3, with most of their bodies submerged in the floodwater. Fortunately, the rescue boat brought back by Levi had saved them. The maximum capacity of this rescue transport boat was 60 people. On the way here, it had already rescued more than 40 people. This meant that not everyone trapped on our rooftop could get on the boat. 17. Many people on the rooftop saw the rescue boat docked by the balcony of my house and started waving excitedly. Many people even rushed downstairs and waited on my balcony, hoping to get on the boat earlier. Time was of the essence, and the elderly, the weak, the sick, and the disabled were given priority to board the boat. At this time, Phoebe, who was standing at the back of the crowd, waved her hands desperately. Make way, my anxiety is acting up, and my heart is pounding. I'm sick, let me get on the boat first. The old man beside her made way, but he stopped her as soon as she tried to move forward. What are you pushing for? Let the children behind you get on the boat first. You're sick. Having anxiety at your age doesn't count as a real illness. I have heart disease and high blood pressure. I haven't taken my medicine for days. After seeing the old man's actions, everyone began to make room for the few children who hadn't boarded the boat yet. Kane arrived late and quickly supported Phoebe, who almost fell. Brother Lin, woo. I'm so scared. Kane didn't comfort her. Instead, he looked around. Suddenly, a huge wave hit. The entire boat shook violently. Captain, the rain is too heavy, and the flood is flowing faster and faster. We may not be able to hold on here much longer. Hurry, get on the boat, Captain. We're about to be overloaded. Before the rescue captain could give an order, wave after wave hit, pushing the boat away from the balcony on the 29th floor. Water rushed into the building. The people who didn't have time to get on the boat turned and ran towards the rooftop when they saw the surging water. I watched helplessly as the huge waves knocked down several people who were running away. In the next second, they disappeared. The flood completely submerged the 30th floor and began to spread towards the rooftop. In the end, only 8 or 9 people managed to reach the rooftop, and Kane and Phoebe were among them. They kept waving at our rescue boat, begging for help, but the surging flood pushed the rescue boat farther and farther away. Captain, we can't get there. No, we have to. Captain, we really can't. If we don't turn back, we may not be able to go back either. Try one more time. Yes. The rescue boat fought against the huge resistance of the flood, but it only got a little closer. Seeing that the flood was about to submerge the entire building, several neighbors trapped on the rooftop jumped into the flood and swam towards the rescue boat on their own, but they underestimated the surging flood in the rainstorm. Before they could get close, they were swept away by the strong current and soon disappeared. Kane and Phoebe watched as the several people were swept away. Standing in the rain, they didn't dare to enter the water rashly and looked extremely confounded. Captain, we really can't make it. The sailing time has exceeded the limit, and the boat is overloaded. If we don't turn back now, I'm afraid we won't be able to return to the base. The rescue captain watched as the boat was pushed farther and farther away by the flood, gritting his teeth and clenching his fists. He held back his tears and made the decision to return. I'm sorry. He picked up 2 life rings on the boat and threw them towards the building with all his might. One of them landed on the rooftop. Phoebe broke down and cried in the rain. What do you mean? Why don't you come over? Come back. Kane didn't say a word. He just stood there in the rain, seemingly having lost the will to survive. As the boat got farther and farther away, the figures of Kane and Phoebe gradually disappeared into the vast flood. It was difficult to navigate the boat in the flood during the rainstorm. From time to time, it would hit the tall buildings hidden beneath the floodwater. After a thrilling journey, it wasn't until the rain stopped in the afternoon that the rescue team got back on the normal route. The entire J-City was submerged. In the evening, our boat arrived at Shanshan, the highest mountain on the outskirts of J-City. Shanshan is 1,672 meters high, and its location is higher than that of J-City by now. The flood had reached the foot of the mountain. This was probably the shelter for all the survivors in J-City at the moment. It rained continuously for another week. The flood was rising slowly. The rescue boats could no longer set out. On the 20th day after the flood broke out, it finally cleared up. Phoebe, have you taken your medicine? Wait for me. I'll be right there. Taking advantage of the clear weather, the people on the mountain began to carry out self-rescue production. In order to survive, everyone was assigned self-rescue tasks. I learned how to grow potatoes, weave raincoats, and straw sandals. I also got to know many kinds of medicinal herbs and wild mushrooms in the mountains. On the 50th day after the flood broke out, the sun has been scorching for a whole month. The water level of the flood began to drop. A large ship with a 5-starred red flag on it sailed towards us from a distance. It turned out that when J-City was hit by the catastrophic flood, various parts of the country and even the world were experiencing different extreme weather conditions, such as earthquakes, wildfires, droughts, floods, high temperatures, and extreme cold. Disasters test our will, and even more so, our humanity. Many foreign countries were taking a passive approach to disaster relief, but as long as we stand together, the strength of the Chinese people is always unparalleled. A year later, the floodwater in J-City completely receded. Grandma Rebecca, due to her old age, decided to stay on Shanshan and continue living there. Lawson and I became volunteers and prepared to participate in the reconstruction and rescue of J-City. On the day we went down the mountain, I saw my father and mother at the foot of the mountain. Since transportation hadn't been restored yet, they had walked for 3 days to come to J-City to find me. I rushed into my parents' arms, crying.